I genuinely believe, like, okay, the relationship ends. This is where it ends. We're done now. I am making a choice as to how I will remember you. And we do it in relationships. Like I always tell people, if you ever want to see a couple light up, if they're ever like the couple at the table that's, it seems like they got in a fight or something, ask them how they met. And most people, when they talk about how they met, like their face softens. They both, and the other person looking at them telling the story gets that look you were talking about before. Yeah. And because they remember that thing and how they felt at that moment. And when this person was a choice, not a default, not their automatic plus one, but the person they asked to the wedding. Not the, of course you're bringing her, it's your wife. You bring your fucking wife places. Like it was still, hey, there's like, 3.5 billion women and I'm picking you, like that feeling. And I don't know why when a relationship ends, you can't do that. A lesson I learned when my mother passed away she had a 2-year terrible battle with cancer and was on hospice and was very, very sick. And it was a very slow and awful end. And I remember one of my worst fears was that this is how I would remember my mother for the rest of my life. That I would never be able to think of her, that I didn't think of what she had become in the last months, where she was withered away to nothing in this bed, And I learned over time that memory is very kind, that like that faded somehow. And that now, like when I remember her healthy and vibrant. I remember her laughter. I remember positive things. Some of that is I like to look at photos of that, but some of it is just how I think memory works. And I don't know why we don't apply that to relationships. And I think part of it is because we have this binary view of relationships, that it's either success, which means you live happily ever after for the rest of your lives and die together, or like in short succession, or it was wrong, it was awful. And I don't understand why that would have to be how we do it. I think we could look at relationships like what they are, which is chapters in a book. And that book is our life. And those chapters all have significance. And none of them the later chapters, none of them would happen without the prior ones. Mm-hmm. So there's this beauty to me of that. And I don't know if it's a choice or if that is how it is. And the rest is just narrative that we've put on top of it culturally for some reason.
Well, I think to push back a little bit, I think memory can also, I think it is a deliberate choice, because I think memory can basically, that's how trauma works. It can surface the negative stuff, and the negative stuff completely drowns out all the positive. So I think it's a deliberate choice to make your memory probably work that way. In relationships, betrayal can do that, right? Sort of cheating, infidelity, like one event can almost erase the entirety of your understanding of the past, and all the memories are sort of shrouded in this darkness of, okay, what I believed was true is totally untrue, and sort of to overcome that and still appreciate the beautiful moments.
I'm continually astounded by how long the hurt and anger of betrayal can reverberate. I have clients who were 4 years, 5 years past when the divorce ended, the cheating was discovered, and they're as angry as they were the day they found out. And I don't know what that's about. Because I also have clients that they like look back on it and they go, we screwed up. Like we were, we didn't do the best, but we did the best we could do at the time. And we like there should be stars for wars like ours, like there should be champagne for the survivors.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Like we made it through, like we survived it, and we were fools, and we were fools for love, and there are worse things in the world to be fools for. But I also do think that most relationships where there was infidelity, and it's not a popular thing to say, and I'll get pilloried for it, but
great.
I just don't know, and I don't want to blame the victim of infidelity, But was the relationship really where it needed to be? Like, were you truly the most just dutiful spouse who was seeing this person's needs be met? Again, we've established in the granola story that people can sometimes, with good intentions, not be meeting their partner's needs or perceiving their partner's needs, or their partner isn't communicating them the right way, or all of the above. But I've rarely seen very happy, content couples that cheat on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand there's a shame in saying this person cheated on me or I cheated on this person. Because I represent the cheater and I represent the cheated. I represent the victim of domestic violence. And I represent the perpetrator of domestic violence. I represent the person with the substance use disorder, the person married to the person. So I don't get to choose the white or the black hat. Like, I have my client and that's my client. And it forces me to put myself into their story from their point of view. And I think that kind of radical empathy that you need to engage in on a daily basis to represent people in those kinds of proceedings, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like there's good guys and bad guys, you know? It just seems like it's complicated and people's intentions and where they actually end up are different.